Isn't it amazing? It's always late on Friday when the most important news has to come out that would affect the market, would affect all kinds of stuff. Let's wait till the end of Friday to release it. This is breaking news from the gentleman known as Andrew Maguire, who blew the whistle on the JP Morgan manipulation on the silver markets back, I think, in 2010 was the time that occurred. He contacted the CFTC twice and said, listen, on the phone live. He pulled an O'Reilly. We'll do it live. Are you ready? Yes. At 12 o'clock sharp in the next few minutes, they're going to slam the precious metals market, namely silver, based on the non-farm payroll report. As soon as the report comes out, it's going to nail it. It's going to nail it. They waited. Bingo. Spot on. Waited a couple months. Hey, I got some more information for you, CFTC investigator. They're going to do it again, and I'd like to be on the phone again with you this time to actually, I think he mailed them a letter or emailed the guy to tell him, hey, today at 12 o'clock noon, they're going to do it. Then the second time, 2 months later, he calls back and says, I want to be on the phone. Can we be on the phone when it happens? Sure. So the purpose of him being on the phone, because he was recording it, saying, look, I know you're aware of it now. I have evidence of it now. I have evidence of me letting you know it's happening. Now you can't say, we didn't find anything. Everything looks fine. Not possible. So here we have been since 2010, almost 4 years later, still under investigation. Can't find anything. Still under investigation. Still investigating. Remember that company, PFG Best? I think that was the name of it. It was like a mini MF Global kind of thing happened. Little mini Bernie Madoff kind of thing. They got that guy in about 2 weeks. He was in jail. They nailed him, had all the charges, had everything they needed. About 2 weeks, all it took. This has been going on since 2010, and you have to understand the reason why it's not happening. Why are their hands tied? Why are they not prosecuting JP Morgan? Is it just because JP Morgan's a member of the club? Well, not exactly. When JP Morgan came out and said through Blythe Masters in her little interview that we have a client that hedges the silver market, not us. We don't do it. We don't engage in that activity. It goes through us, but it's for the client. They weren't lying. And the client, as you probably could guess, is pretty much the federal government through probably a subsidiary so that it doesn't look so obvious. And that's why they can't possibly prosecute just yet. Unless the federal government says, JP Morgan, you will be taking the fall, and JP Morgan's going to collapse in the near future, which would be fantastic, although I don't know if that'll ever happen. So it says, in a stunning development, 2 JP Morgan whistleblowers have confessed that the bank manipulates the gold and silver markets. This is truly a shocking admission by the courageous JP Morgan whistleblowers. In a blockbuster King World News interview, which I will link to, London metals trader, that same guy, Andrew Maguire, who blew the whistle the first time, told King World News that 2 JP Morgan employees came directly to him with hard evidence that the bank was actively manipulating the gold and silver markets. Andrew Maguire told those 2 JP Morgan insider whistleblowers, he referred them to a very prestigious law firm that handles whistleblowers. And the CFTC hasn't really done anything with that information. Been kind of sitting on it. So lo and behold, late Friday night, this story comes out, and the big part about them waiting till the end of the week, not these guys, but Bart Chilton, one of the commissioners on the CFTC, who said, and quote, as you know, I'm prohibited from actually saying much. That said, I will not let September go by without speaking out if the agency doesn't do so, referring to the CFTC. Now, since the original CFTC meeting, Andrew Maguire has provided a very large amount of detailed evidence to the CFTC. And what isn't known up until right now was that during that time, he was also contacted by the 2 JP Morgan employee whistleblowers that told him they had a large amount of documented evidence of market trading abuses in gold and silver by their bank, JP Morgan. So under the Dodd-Frank whistleblower provision, He says, Andrew McGuire says, it was my understanding that this covered the same type of period of metals abuses that I had prepared in my submissions. And from their own protection, I directed them to a law firm specializing in whistleblowers so they could formally provide this evidence under the Dodd-Frank whistleblower provision directly to the CFTC. Now, he said he supplied this to them in June of 2012. So we are now past a year later with additional information to bury JP Morgan, and I don't see anything happening yet. However, I am seeing JP Morgan just recently announced, again, they're getting rid of their commodities division, right? We're going to get rid of that. We'll sell that off. And we got about $4 or $5 billion on standby to settle legal and fines and those kind of things and fees. To make sure our books and everything are in order and blah, blah, blah. Really? Now, you don't suppose, of course, being one of the club members, they got ample notice. JP Morgan, you're going to take the fall. We tried, but the government ain't taking the fall. You already knew this. You're taking the fall. You'll pay the fines. It'll be hefty fines. There'll be fines higher than you probably ever paid before. You're going to have to get out of the commodities. We'll just switch the silver short position to somebody else. Let someone else pick it up. Let them do the manipulating, and you can take over. Or you can get out of it. So when I see all these things happening with JP Morgan recently, as you all been well aware of, one has to wonder, is the hammer fixing to come down by the CFTC somehow or another, even if they lightly get off, pay a fine, but are being forced to relinquish their ability to manipulate the markets and hand it off to someone else, or not hand it off to someone else and the prices are fixing to go up. Or hand it off to someone else and they let the prices go up to pretend that no one else is manipulating the market. It was JP Morgan, it's over and done with. See, the prices rise, everything's fine. And then there's a new top for silver and gold. And that'll be the bottom, but it'll be a new top. So there could still be manipulation, but it'll have to start at a much higher level. And let's just assume a couple, 2 or 3 years goes by. Once again, some whistleblowers come out. They're manipulating it even more. It should be even higher than it is today. And yes, we know it was already broken records in both silver and gold, but it should still be higher. And here's new evidence. Then that guy, that company, will be forced to do the same thing. You're going to take the fall. We're going to hand off the short position to someone else. And then we'll have a new high that becomes a new bottom, like I talked about. Or the whole world sees this and says, oh my God, just the fact that JP Morgan was nailed. The conspiracy theorists were right. What else have they been saying this whole time? That there is a massive shortage in physical because they've been using the paper market to manipulate it. Oh my God, I better go get some. And at that point, it won't matter if they're manipulating the market or not. There'll be such high demand for gold and silver, I don't think they'll be able to do anything about it other than say, new rules on the COMEX. You can no longer demand delivery. No more physical delivery. It's only a paper contract, and that's the new rule starting Monday morning, and today's Friday night. But once again, you can have a paper market set the price, and you can have real people with real physical assets saying, I'm not getting rid of it. And then when you have industry saying, I need it, I need it, I need it, and they can't get it, how is that going to work? Because again, if the CFTC says you can no longer demand delivery, that would mean the industry, solar panels, electronics, you name it, can't get their hands on it through the COMEX either. Not just investors, but everybody won't be able to get their hands on it. Or will they pass a law that says only if you're a mining company or a company that melts down silver, smelts it, whatever. But again, those companies would be in full force anyways because the rest of the people who needed that for their electronics, the companies and manufacturers, would still have to go to those people to get the silver. So it doesn't matter whether the paper price, they try to stop people from demanding delivery from the COMEX. It's not going to matter. A shortage is a shortage is a shortage, no matter how you look at it. So I'm going to link to this story. This is part 1 apparently, and part 2 they said was coming, but not yet. And I'm not sure when it is. It said the broadcast. Yep, it's just the part 1 right now. So it's an interesting thing to listen to. But I'm going to link to this and take care.